Manny was my spiritual covering during that season. And I got to experience God's love through him, who just cared for me and let me cry if I wanted to cry, weep if I wanted to weep, sit in silence if I wanted to sit in silence, smile if I wanted to smile without any judgment. And so the weeks following, they were very solemn. There were moments that you could almost mistaken it as numbing, because I think that's what pain tries to do, create a sort of like numbness or protection, or the natural way of how you to heal. I think you just try to figure it out. So I knew that I needed help. So I just want to thank all of my prayer partners, whether it be family or close friends or mentors that partnered with us during this season, because they really helped carry us. I also realized that I personally needed help, and so that's when I pursued counseling. I needed to see someone that would be able to help me work through this pain. I personally believe that for me, going through counseling, professional counseling, really encouraged my healing and allowed God to do the work inside of me. Pain has a unique way of really revealing your true intentions, right? And I really believe that's what happened for me. God helped me to see what the main point was. And I've realized over these last few months and years that the true main point is Christ. That obedience is better than sacrifice. And pursuing him and his presence is really what makes a difference, is really what brings joy. And I believe that that has led to discussions of us being open to whether it was at that time foster care again or adoption.
Yeah, I know in the very beginning of our marriage, we kind of talked about adoption. Yeah. And for me, it wasn't necessarily a no. It was more or less I think later on in the adoption process, someone put it perfectly. I was open to being open. Mm-hmm. Didn't necessarily have any adverse feelings towards it or against it, because it was something that I never really thought of or considered. I was just simply open. I was like, oh, okay. We've done the foster care, and we've done Hanai. So I was like, I'm open. I'm all ears per se. And I realized that for me, it was more of a struggle that I made it out to be than it really shouldn't have, I think. Because, I had all these hopes and dreams, and for children of our own, there was this kind of this nagging thought in the back of my mind. It's like, Lord, how can I love a child that's not biologically mine? And it's so interesting when I think about it now, because I had already been doing that through foster care and Hanai. It's like all of a sudden, this traumatic experience sort of changed my perspective as far as, how can I do such a thing as far as loving a child that's not mine? I'm like, I've already been doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, the path that you take when you process pain and how it changes your perspective. Mm-hmm. And forces you to look at something that's not necessarily true, because I'm thinking I could never do something like that. But definitely once I got over that hurdle, and then we really started having more discussions and conversations about it.
I think if it was anything fruitful that came from this last year is that it's brought Manny and I closer together. Our conversations have become more meaningful, we've gone deep. Because we've basically experienced the same sort of vulnerability and pain. And so in order to share empathy with each other and understanding, let's have these discussions. Let's talk about how we're feeling, because you're the only one who knows how I'm feeling today.
Yeah.
And that's how God intended it. And that's what's really created the faith that we now have as the foundation that we built for our home. And that's what God has always intended from the beginning of our marriage, when we committed our marriage to Him.